Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to our AI project education. It's going to be lecture 2, and today we'll discuss about selection logic, which is one of the most fundamental logics in programming. So we've encountered so many selections and choices in our daily life. For example, which one do you prefer, apples or bananas? Or coffee or tea? So how do we express these kind of logic in a programming world? We will use the selection logic. And we will discuss if else, if else, and if, so multiple if statements in today's lecture. So this is designed based on the Python syntax. If you are using different programming languages, they will have very similar syntax. So for example, you might encounter if else if else instead of if else. I would recommend you to read the documentation, but the fundamental selection logic is going to be consistent through all the programming languages. So I will go straight to the lecture notes to discuss this in further details. So we will wait for a moment. Okay, so here it is. The first one we will discuss if else. So maybe you could have some hints from its name. If else basically cover the conditions when you only have two choices. So either or like either black or white. You could kind of think in this way. So this statement, we've discussed this in lecture 1. So this is basically the value definition. And if you use one equal sign, this means assignment. So thus assign value 3 to a variable named x. And this, I kind of covered it in the previous lecture as well. So if you want to do the equality or equal to relationship, you have to do two equal signs. So two equal signs means comparison, and specifically it means equal to. And one equal sign means assignment. So in this case, if x equals to 3, we want to print coffee. Else, we want to print tea. So else basically means any other conditions except x equals to 3. So more frankly, it means x not equal to 3. So in this case, because we assign 3 to x, so like hopefully it's going to be obvious to you that x equals to 3, so it will print coffee. So what about more than two choices? Like we might encounter what is your favorite dishes? Like more complicated scenarios. So we introduce if, elif, and else. And note that you could have multiple elif statements. So this is like strictly if, elif, else. But you could definitely have if, elif, 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 multiple elif. But just remember to end the logic using else. You could also not end using else, which is also acceptable. But for today, I will just introduce if, elif, and else. So in this case, we assign 4 to the variable x. So definitely it's not equal to 3 because it's 4. And elif x equals to 4, so this condition is going to be met, which means this condition is going to be evaluated to true. And else means like x is not equal to 3 and x is not equal to 4. So in this case, because x is assigned to 4, so this condition is going to be true, so it will print t. So you might wonder like why I need to use if and else statements or if elif statements instead of using multiple if statements. This is because when you are using else and elif, you exclude the conditions set before them. Well, if you are using if and if or multiple if statements, then if the condition meets both or more criteria, all of the statements will be evaluated. So let's take an example. If we assign 4 to x, then hopefully it's obvious to you that x is smaller and equal to 4 and smaller and equal to 5 because x is 4. So if you use multiple if statements, or in this example, two if statements, you can see that this statement is evaluated to be true, and this statement is also evaluated to be true. So both coffee and tea will be printed. However, if you are using elif, then only the first statement will be evaluated true, or whatever the true statement that comes the first will be evaluated. So this one will only print coffee. Oh, by the way, so if you're using else, hopefully you could see it that if you're using else, you cannot like write something right after it. So you cannot write something like else x equals to 5. This is not acceptable. So if you want to include a specific condition like x equals to 5, x is smaller than 5, x is greater than 5, you have to use elif statement instead of else. So else, it only appear by itself. So yeah, I think this is a very brief introduction for a selection logic, and this could help you to kind of write a answering machine of whether choosing between coffee or tea or apple or banana. If you want to try it, feel free to do so. And if you would like to have some quizzes or do some self-check, feel free to see the Google form that I will post it in the comment. And that's it. Good job. Thank you for listening to Lecture 2, and see you in Lecture 3.